Oh man, this dude went a little too far. But boy oh boy, is that just one of the times that some of the dumbest home cooks I've ever seen completely lost it on MasterChef. If I have to pick just one chef to rep this list, then it's gotta be this one right here. Meet David, the culinary genius with a flair for drama. Coming from the realm of high-end dining, pretty much every dish of his was a work of art.
All right. I knew that why you wouldn't give it to Brandy.
David's skills were celebrated far and wide. However, there was a catch: his fiery and explosive temperament.
You don't make a lot of sense, brother.
David's reputation wasn't just about what he was cooking up, it was also about his tendency to throw a bunch of full-blown tantrums.
I'm just saying you don't make sense.
It's a competition.
Yes, you heard that right, tantrums from a grown man. And well, it's worse than your imagination's probably making up.
Idiot.
There was this time when, during a challenge, each chef was given an ingredient chosen by a family member.
My main goal today is to throw David off his game, get him so flustered that he cannot come back from it.
It was a chance for them to shine with a restaurant-quality dish. But for David, you know our man here had to completely trash the challenge. Feeling like the world was against him, he dramatically threatened to walk away from the competition altogether.
Rattled some cages.
In front of his family, no less? I mean, what was he up to here?
This idiot doesn't even get protein, and then I get this and he up. No, it's
David?
Brandy, Tenoria, Katie, and Dan, and pretty much all of them, struggled to tolerate David's hostile vibes pretty much all the time. Even his former ally Sean found himself on his bad side when things inevitably went downhill between the two.
just it's a joke.
Wow.
David ended up earning a title he probably didn't want. The most infamous finalist in the show's history. His unpleasant personality and habit of giving up early didn't earn him any fans. In fact, it cost him whatever respect he had left in the eyes of his fellow cooks.
Get mad like that? That's all right.
And then there was Dan, the quiet guy who rarely spoke up. Even he couldn't help but raise an eyebrow when David went off on yet another tirade.
David?
The other chefs breathed a collective sigh of relief, grateful to have one less storm to weather in the kitchen. There were many particular opinions of the show's fans about the incident. Some even pointed out that maybe he was edited to look nasty and sound rude. I mean, the editors do play a huge part in how the contestants are portrayed on any reality show, so I won't be too surprised even if they did mess around a bit here. But the next home cook I've got lined up for you all was the most offensive of the lot. In Season 3, Ryan became quite the talk of the town, and not for the best of reasons. But what really happened?
In one big line, please. Straight down. Thank you.
It seems like he'd taken it upon himself to be the most controversial and toxic contestant of the season.
Ladies.
Dude, shut up.
But this incident? Oh boy, it was a doozy. Ryan decided it would be a great idea to stir the pot by making some incredibly insensitive comments. I mean, let's hear it from the man himself, because I don't want to put his words into my mouth.
If ever there was a time to flash a nip, ladies.
Dude, shut up.
Ryan, in all his small-minded glory, thought it would be hilarious to suggest that flashing some skin could actually earn more points with the judges.
Telling me to show them your n***s.
Yep, he went there making a comment that not only reeked of sexism, but also completely undermined the talent of the female contestants.
That'll get us more votes.
Now, let's talk about those ladies he was so obviously ogling. They weren't having any of it, and honestly, can you blame them? They were quick to shut down Ryan's ridiculousness, and rightfully so.
Have some respect, man.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, who wouldn't be annoyed by such outdated and offensive remarks? It's moments like these that make you wonder what goes on in Ryan's head. Is he just trying to be the center of attention? But what's crazier is a contestant losing their cool with one of the judges.
If you think Gordon's pal is terrible...
I mean, what could be more stupid than that? Well, let me go and immediately answer my own question. It's gotta be this next contestant from Season 5. I really think Cutter had some serious nerve to talk as rudely as he did. And guess who came under the fire? The judges.
You're allowed to think
That's not
that.
what I said at all. Don't put words in my mouth.
The episode kicked off on a hilarious note, with Cutter attempting to conquer the world of red velvet cakes.
That's a generous portion of frosting.
Let's just say he fumbled the bag in pretty spectacular fashion.
I'm all about taste.
And the next thing you know, the whole situation took a wild turn that left literally everyone watching in shock, whether they're in person or through a television screen.
But it is so sweet. I mean, take a little bite, and just get a little gist of
When Chef Ramsay dished out his critiques on the cake, things quickly escalated.
what I'm saying. It's sticking to the roof of my mouth and on my first mouthful. You've cooked the sponge beautifully.
Instead of taking it in stride, Cutter boldly disagreed with Chef Ramsay, insisting that his cake was top-notch.
However, it's about that ratio, and you've got to get that balance right, Cutter.
Now, did he forget who was in charge here? Quite possibly.
The frosting looks really heavy.
I think it's a good cake. I don't think it's too sweet.
According to him, it all came down to individual taste.
I have to disagree with Chef Ramsay. I think it actually tastes pretty good to me. I
But did he stop there? Oh no, Cutter was just getting warmed up.
think just everybody has a different palate.
Graham tried to make him understand the gravity of his statement, but I don't think Cutter even cared to understand.
If somebody gives you their feedback, for you to be humble enough to say...
Right, that's what I'm
"Hey,"
trying to figure out where the balance is.
The dude just wouldn't shut up.
And you don't want to just sit there and say, I stand by it. It's good, because then it's like, well, why does anyone give you...
And then came Joe, trying his best to maintain the peace. He politely inquired what Cutter disagreed with, hoping for a reasonable conversation.
What's the discussion here? What don't you agree with?
It's not that I don't agree.
But Cutter wasn't ready to back down. He continued to bark rude and nonsensical remarks left and right.
I'm trying to learn here. I taste cream cheese, and that's what I'm trying to understand is what's considered more sweet.
Joe, bless his soul, tried to reason with Cutter after sampling the cake. But did this deter Cutter? Absolutely not. He continued to defend his dish with all the gusto and audacity one could muster.
Like, if any time we tell you something, you're going to become so defensive.
It was a sight to behold, a clash of wills between Chef Ramsay's discerning palate and Cutter's unyielding confidence.
What's considered more sweet?
Are you the kind of guy who lives in a delusion?
As the tension simmered, the kitchen became a battleground of egos. Cutter stood firm in his belief that his cake was a triumph, despite the glaring evidence to the contrary. It was as if he was on a mission to prove the judges wrong, one overly confident quip at a time.
I'm on the edge of going home. I'll be honest with you, I'm on the edge of going home. Baking sucks for me.
Meanwhile, the other contestants watched in a mix of awe and disbelief. Some tried to hide their amusement behind thinly veiled expressions, while others couldn't help but chuckle at the unfolding spectacle.
I do get defensive because I do feel like I put my passion and my heart into everything I put in.
The drama reached its peak when Cutter, emboldened by his own conviction, decided to challenge Chef Ramsay himself.
If you think Gordon's pal is terrible, you're allowed to
That's
think
not
that.
what I said at all.
The room fell silent as Chef Ramsay, who I'm sure everyone was expecting to immediately demolish the guy, calmly listened to Cutter's bold claims.
You're allowed to
That's
think
not
that.
what I said at all. Don't put words in my mouth.
And believe me, you could hear a pin drop in that room in the silence that hung between them after Cutter said his piece. Chef Ramsay went on to dissect Cutter's cake with surgical precision, pointing out every flaw and misstep.
Why would you mouth off to Joe? And why would you have anything to say other than yes, sir?
It was a masterclass in culinary critique, delivered with just the right balance of wit and expertise.
You have to have respect for us and our
I do.
opinions of what we tell.
Yet, despite Chef Ramsay's expert analysis, Cutter remained unfazed. He continued to defend his creation with unwavering confidence, refusing to back down even in the face of such formidable opposition.
All I do is get hammered.
All you do is interrupt me when I'm talking to you, and you sound ignorant, Cutter.
In the end, Cutter's red velvet cake may not have won any awards, but it certainly showed off just how awful a personality he had. His boldness, audacity, and unyielding belief in his own skills made for a, let's just call it a memorable episode and leave it at that.
You're allowed to
That's
think
not what I
that.
said at all. Don't put words in my mouth.
As the episode drew to a close, Cutter stood tall, proud of his cake and his defiance. Whether he was a culinary genius or simply delusional, one thing was for certain. He had made his mark on the competition in a way that no one would soon forget.
Why would you mouth off to Joe? And why would you have anything to say other than yes, sir?
Boy, would they not forget.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Both people involved became disrespectful really fast. Cutter wasn't listening to any advice and kept interrupting Joe. Meanwhile, Joe rubbished what Cutter was trying to say and literally was blamed for putting words in Cutter's mouth.
You're allowed to
That's
think
not what I
that.
said at all. Don't put words in my mouth.
Phew! That escalated fast. But there's no argument that can beat the showdown between two hot-headed contestants, Jesse and Chrissy.
It just happened right before my eyes.
I mean, this incident had sent the tension through the roof.
I'm stuck with the thing.
So Jessie, with her hopes high and apron on, was ready to see where MasterChef took her. But guess who fate decided to pair her up with? Yep, none other than the notorious Chrissy. Now, if you don't know about Chrissy, let me fill you in. She's got a reputation and not a good one. Chrissy, Oh, she's the queen of disrespect, known for her sharp tongue and no-nonsense attitude. It's like she's got a beef with everyone, pun intended. So you can imagine Jessie's disappointment when she found out she was stuck with Chrissy as her teammate. Poor Jessie, she hadn't signed up for this level of kitchen chaos.
Staying down there with that cow.
As soon as the pairing was announced, Jessie's face said it all. Disappointment, check. Frustration, double check. She couldn't hide her feelings, and honestly, who could blame her? Chrissy's reputation precedes her, and it wasn't a good one.
With that cow.
First off, Jessie couldn't resist the urge to let out a loud exclamation. It was like being handed a hot potato you never wanted in the first place. And then there was the pointing.
For the first time in my life, I'm excited about a pressure test because I'm excited to send this cow home.
Oh yes, the dramatic pointing at Chrissy as if to say, look what I've been saddled with. But wait, this is where it gets dirty. Jessie didn't stop there. Nope, she took it up a notch. What did she call Chrissy, you ask? Brace yourselves, folks. She referred to Chrissy as a
I think we learned a lot from yesterday. There should have been more communication.
cow. Yep, you heard that right, a cow. Now, before you raise your eyebrows in shock, let's dissect this. Was it a bit much? Maybe. But let's not forget, emotions were running high. When you're stuck with someone like Chrissy, known for her not-so-friendly ways, the frustration can hit boiling point real quick. So, Jessie let it out. She called it like she saw it, and at that moment, Chrissy was not her favorite person.
Grill, and you were like, oh, okay.
How did I tell you to cook them, though?
You told me to, you didn't tell me to cook them.
I said to cook them almost burnt.
No, you did
Yes,
not.
I did.
You said don't burn them or we won't be able to
No, I
fold
didn't
them.
say that.
Is
Bree
what
heard
you
me.
said.
I said almost
Oh,
burnt.
Savannah, you.
Hey.
All right, dude, shut the up. I'm done.
Chill out, Chrissy.
I'm done.
For real.
I'm done.
No, dude, I'm so sick and tired of you bitching about everything.
Now, let's be real here. Calling someone a cow is, well, not the nicest thing to do. But hey, in the heat of the moment, words can slip out like butter on a hot pan. Jessie was visibly irritated, and she wasn't holding back. Chrissy, on the other hand, well, let's just say she didn't take it lightly. The tension in the kitchen was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Chrissy didn't let Jessie's words slide. Oh no, she fired right back with her own selection of choice words. Maybe this time Chrissy wasn't in the wrong, but boy oh boy, what happened in this next episode was wild.
That's the truth.
I feel like I was the worst on the team.
It's not, you can't.
Yeah, Chrissy surely knew how to stir things up, and well, she was almost always at the center of it.
There should have been more communication.
In the moment, we all agreed on everything.
Chrissy seemed to have a bone to pick with everyone, as if she had a personal scorecard to settle with each contestant.
But the minute we get in front of them, everybody's tune changes. That's the truth. So
In the group discussion, instead of calmly expressing her thoughts, Chrissy went in guns blazing. I mean, just look at her expressions.
that's the truth.
I was the worst on the team.
It's not, you can't take it personally like that.
She didn't hold back in her arguments, making sure everyone knew she felt victimized.
No way.
It was like she had a radar for mistakes, and she was quick to point fingers at others, blaming them for everything that went wrong. The room got tense as she continued to argue her points, not caring about the chaos she was causing.
3 times I told you that I didn't think it was a good idea to steam
No, you
them.
didn't.
Then came the moment that really raised eyebrows. Chrissy started cursing out Savannah.
I think we learned a lot from yesterday. There should have been more communication.
In the moment, we all agreed on everything. But the minute we get in front of them, everybody's tune changes. That's the truth.
I was the worst on the team.
It's not, you can't take it personally like that.
No way. 3 times I told you that I didn't think it was a good idea to steam
No, you
them.
didn't.
I said maybe we should put the tortillas on the grill, and you were like, oh, okay.
How did
And
I
then all
tell
of
you
a
to cook
sudden-
them, though?
Now, it got to a heated moment, so when Chrissy unleashed her fury, it was like watching a volcano erupt.
You said don't burn them or we won't be able to
No,
fold
I didn't
them.
say that.
Is
Bree
what
heard
you
me.
said.
I said almost
Oh,
burnt.
Savannah,
People were literally taken aback by the venom in Chrissy's words, but she didn't seem to care. She was on a roll.
All right, dude.
Things took a turn for the worse when Chrissy was finally confronted about her behavior.
Shut the up. I'm done.
Chill out, Chrissy.
Instead of taking a step back or showing any remorse, she decided to double down on her attitude.
Done.
For real.
I'm done.
No, dude, I'm so sick and tired
The room temperature rose as Bree spoke up, refusing to back down.
of you bitching about everything. And here
Yeah.
you are coming in like, oh, you guys, it was such a bad team.
With every second that passed, the argument grew wilder.
You too, dude.
I didn't say it was
Who
a
were
bad
you? What did
team.
you
I
do
didn't
on the
say
team?
it was a bad team.
But wait, it didn't end there. Chrissy took it to a whole new level.
Everything
You better
was
shut
so...
the up, Bree,
Really?
or I'm
What are you
gonna knock
gonna do?
you the out.
Good, I
That's
hope
what
you...
the I'm
You
gonna
can't
do.
sit here and talk
I'm
things out
done.
like an adult.
She threatened to physically harm Bree. Yes, In a shocking turn of events, Chrissy's words went from fiery arguments to downright threats.
All you ever want to do is hit everyone in the face.
1 minute.
I mean, that was totally uncalled for. So, can you think of more times when chefs lost it on MasterChef? Make sure to let me know in the comments down below. And if you thought the video was crazy, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on my post notifications. And hey, don't forget to check out this next video right here. It's even crazier.